Hi everybody. I had a request from a friend a couple days ago looking for a couple customized mugs. She is getting it for her priest, I guess, and somebody else that works at the church. So she wanted some kind of Christian themed mug. So what I have open here is my mug template. I always use this when I'm designing mugs. This is a template that I created. It's available on my Patreon page for all subscribers, not just paid subscribers. So if you want to check that out, the link below. So what this is the exact size of the paper that you need to print out to do a 10-ounce mug. So you have all your guidelines here, your center line, your midway point on the left side of the mug, your midway point on the entire mug, and your right center. So this template is good to work with in Photoshop. So I have several layers here. I have the outline layer. I'm just going to turn that off so you can see that you can turn that off or on. The purpose of this outline layer is to just let you know where you have to keep all your elements of your mug design inside. So everything has to be inside of that. Ideally leave it about 1 millimeter inside of that line. So I'm just going to turn on the white blank layer. So what we got to do now is we got to go online somewhere and find a graphic that would be suitable for a mug for religious leader and person that works at the church. So I'm just going to turn off these marching ants here to selection by hitting Control D on Photoshop. Okay, so I'm going to go into my favorite place to get graphics now, and that's called VECTEEZY. So I'm just going to go in here. I'm not looking for vectors. I'm not looking for photos. What I'm looking for here is PNG files. I'm a subscriber to VECTEEZY. I think I pay like 14 something a month for it. Links in the description below if you want to subscribe to it. You can get all the graphics you want for free, which is great for me because I design sportswear and all kinds of stuff. So I can just go in and grab whatever graphics I need whenever I want for 14 something a month, which is really pretty good. Okay, what I'm looking for here is Christian graphics. So let's see. Nothing there that I want. Maybe if I look at the vector files. Vector. Christian vector. Let's see. I already saw one that I downloaded earlier. Let's just go into my account, into my history. Let's see. Downloads. Okay, it's this one. So I just want to click on that. Yep, that's the one I was going to use. So I'm just going to download that. Once it downloads, it'll open up a zip file that you can click on, and that'll open the zip file up. Takes a second. Okay, so I can get the EPS file, which is great if you're doing vector work in Illustrator, but I'm not doing vector work in Illustrator today. I'm doing rasterized work in Photoshop. So I'm just going to double click on this one. It's the JPEG file of the same image. Okay, so that opened up pretty quick. So that's the graphic that I want to use. So I'm just going to unlock the background layer. So that changes it from a background layer to a regular layer. I'm going to hit Control A to select it all. Then I'm going to hit Control Shift C, and that'll copy it. So I'll go back to my mug template. And I'm just going to paste that right in there. Okay, so what we want to do is align the focal point of the graphic to the center line on either side. Whenever I do a mug and they don't specify they want something different on the back and front, I always put the same thing on the front and the back. So the focal point, I think, of this would be the cross. But the only problem we have is that the right hand side of the design overlaps the center. So if we put that on the right side as well and mirror it, it will cross in the background. We don't want that. and it's a little bit big. I have to put names on this mug, so I'm going to scale that down. I'm just going to grab the corner here on the bottom right, and I'm just going to hold my mouse button and drag that up, make it a little smaller. So now I can center that, and I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to drag it down a little bit because, as I said, I got to put names on that as well. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So I'll just hit enter there, and I'll click out of it. Yep, that looks good. So that's on a layer here. That's on layer 3. So I'm going to duplicate that layer. I'll just click on layer 3. I'll right click, and I'll say duplicate layer. So now I got layer 3 copy, and it's directly over layer 3. So I'm just going to grab that and drag it over. You can see those pink lines. If I'm going across horizontally and I'm perfectly in line with the previous image, I'll get those little pink lines, and I do want that. So I'm going to drag that over until I get that cross centered. Now this is very close to the actual edge of the mug, and that'll look kind of off balance when we print the mug. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on this. Oops, I'll click out of it. I'll select it and right click. Now it won't let me do that, and I know exactly why, because you have to tell it that you want to do a transform. So you got to hit Control T. Now when I right click, I'll get the option to flip horizontal. Okay, so now it's off center again. So I just got to drag that over, and I still get those pink lines if it's aligned correctly vertically. So if I go up here, pink lines go away. I bring it down too far, the pink lines go away. You can see that it's not aligned. So I'm just going to move that up until I get those pink lines. There we go. Okay. I'm just going to tap my left arrow key now just to nudge it over so that the cross is centered directly with the right center line. Okay. So just click on our direct selection tool here, and that's, whoops, that's our mug design. Now what I have left to do with this now is add the names. So I'm just going to get my text tool here. I already had a look at the different fonts I wanted to use. The one I decided on is called Satisfy. That is a Google font. So if you go on Google Fonts and type in Satisfy, you can download this font. Okay, so I'm going to click here. Oh, my selection went away. Let's try this again. If you scroll up to the top, it shows you some of the most recent fonts that you use. So Satisfy is here. Okay, I'm going to move that where I want it. Double click. Make sure centered is selected here. And I'm going to type in the name of the person that wants the mug. So it's Father Laney. Actually, he doesn't want the mug. My friend wants the mug. For Father Laney. Okay, so hit your direct selection. Now, we're going to grab that layer. We're going to right click again, and we're going to say duplicate. And we'll say OK. So now we got two layers with exact same text in them. Again, we're just going to drag that over. We're going to make sure we got our pink lines. And there we have it. So that's our mug design for Father Laney. Now when I print this, I am going to leave the red on there. And when I cut it out of my piece of paper, I'm just going to cut like a millimeter inside of the red line. Just be very careful, make sure you get all that red off there, because when you print your mug, when you press your mug, you will get the red on there as well. So I'm just going to hit Control A, and I'm going to hit Control Shift C, and that'll copy all the layers even though they're not selected. I'm going to open up a new file now, and what I want is A3. I have a large format printer, and I always use A3 paper. So now I'm just going to hit Control V, and I have my mug design here. Now my friend wanted 2 mugs with the same design, so the design is pretty much done. Just got to change the name. So I just double click in there, hit Control A to select all the text. Now I'll type in Julia. Okay, and we'll do the same over here. So now Control A, it's already all selected. Hit Control Shift C. Then we go into our untitled. Hit Control V. Drag that up. If you had 4 mugs to make, you could place, excuse me, I can't even talk right now. You'd paste them all onto the same sheet and you could get 4 mugs out of one sheet. So I'm going to send that to my printer right now. Oops, not my brother printer. Epson EcoTank 7750. And you have to go into print settings. And I have some presets here. This is the one I use. I use a +2 -6. What that means is under more options in here and under advanced, I got the brightness turned up by 2 and the density turned back by 6. That way I don't get such thick ink on my paper. I was getting a lot of problems with smudging and roller marks and whatnot, and that seems to have fixed the problem. Okay, I'm not going to send that exactly to the printer right now because I don't have my printer set up, and I think I have something laid in front of my printer, so it might be a problem if I send that to the printer right now. So this mug design will be on my Patreon page. The template itself will be available to the free users and paid users, obviously. And the mug design template will be available for paid users. Hey folks, that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching.